Hello everyone, this is Steve with the Sierra Valley and Harbor Junction HO Scale Model Railroad. Welcome back to another exciting edition of my attempt to build a HO Scale Class B 2-truck Shay. I've recently worked on my framework underneath all the details, the cab, the boiler, the air tank, and the toolbox. You gotta have a nice, square, sturdy frame in order to make this thing work. So I'm just gonna touch on a few items here real quick. I try to make these videos as short as I can and as explanatory as I can so that you guys can follow along and not get bored. So here's my cab. I'll go ahead and remove that. This is the back piece, the tank, I think, for water and fuel, whatever. And I've got the boiler here. You can see I added the boiler bands, and I'm doing some cleanup work. I got the smokestack soldered on. I'm doing some pretty hefty cleanup work there too. And a little air tank and my toolbox. Now underneath is a nice square, sturdy frame. I just used some basic sheet brass, and I've done some heavy soldering to the front and the back. I started cutting out a coupler pocket. You can't really see it just yet, but when I start cleaning this thing up, do my filing and my sanding and my final detail work, the coupler pockets will, you can kind of see some of the saw cuts there for the couplers. So that's that. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over now. Nothing's assembled yet, screwed down or anything. You can see where I've got the side rails, the frame rails, and then underneath I've got the front truck mount soldered in. That's going to be my ground. And then on the rear, you can see where I've kind of etched it in. That's going to be just a little strip of plastic, or perhaps PC circuitry board or something to attach the rear truck. Now, if you can kind of see, I'm going to try and get a little closer here. There's a little pocket that I've cut out right in the center that will accept my my dual worm gear drive that will actually power the gear that's on the little Shay engine here underneath. You can see that little gear here, how it's spinning. You can see how it's turning the line shafts, which in turn turn the gears on the line shaft and transfer the power to the gears on the wheels. This is a PFM system that I picked up off of eBay. It was pretty expensive, but nonetheless it was a good score, and I don't have to scratch build it anymore. So you can see here, it moves nice. What I intend to do is use a dual worm setup with a pinion gear on this motor, and that will be mounted through this access hole. The actual engine itself, you can see, has these two little screw holes where I can mount on these blocks that you see here. Took a little doing, but I finally figured out what I was going to do with that, and I'm pretty satisfied with the mock-up of it. But now the cleanup work is going to take a little bit of time. So once I get this all cleaned up, I can start drilling holes and doing some tapping and actually get this engine mounted so that I can start working on my gear mount setup. So stay tuned, more to come for sure. Thanks for watching. Again, this is Steve with the Sierra Valley and Harbor Junction HO Scale Model Railroad.